The race between Harris and Trump is fiercely close in several pivotal states, with voter turnout hitting record highs in key battlegrounds. As both campaigns intensify their strategies, one candidate is starting to gain an edge, shifting the momentum in these crucial areas and setting the stage for a thrilling and unpredictable conclusion. In this analysis, we'll dive deep into the latest polling data across all 50 states to uncover how the 2024 electoral map is taking shape. Make sure to watch this one all the way through because we have some new updates that you won't want to miss. Let's begin with California, where Harris's deep political roots as a former attorney general and U.S. senator have secured her a commanding 24-point lead over Trump. California remains firmly in the solid blue column, reinforcing Harris's influence across the West Coast. In Oregon, a recent poll completed just days ago shows Harris with a strong 12-point lead, solidifying the state's status as likely blue. Her consistent support in Oregon reflects her hold on the Pacific Northwest. Moving up to Washington, Harris maintains a 20-point advantage in the latest polls, placing the state securely in the solid blue category. Washington has proven to be a Democratic stronghold for decades, with Harris's lead here further strengthening her control of the entire West Coast. Nevada is shaping up to be one of the most fiercely competitive battlegrounds in this election. The latest polls show Harris and Trump tied at 48%, leaving the state as a true toss-up for now. Despite recent Republican gains, including the election of a GOP governor, the state has a history of voting blue in recent presidential cycles. With Nevada's 6 electoral votes on the line and the race deadlocked, this state could be pivotal in determining the final outcome. All eyes are on Nevada as it could easily swing the balance in this tight contest. Arizona remains a critical swing state as the race tightens with Election Day quickly approaching. In the most recent polls, Trump leads Harris 49% to 46%, shifting the state into the lean red category. Arizona's history of tight races adds even more pressure, with Harris's campaign gaining ground and keeping Trump on edge. As a key state in Trump's path back to the White House, losing Arizona would deal a significant blow to his chances, especially with Harris closing the gap. In New Mexico, Harris holds a solid 7% lead and has outpaced Trump in every poll to date. Although Republicans have made inroads, particularly among Hispanic voters, the state remains securely in the lean blue category. Interestingly, before Harris became the nominee, New Mexico was seen as a potential sleeper battleground, but her stronger-than-expected performance has essentially moved the state out of play for Republicans. Democrats are now focused on expanding Harris's lead and securing the state for future cycles. Meanwhile, in Colorado, Harris commands a 12-point lead in the latest polls. The state has shifted toward the Democrats in recent years due to urban expansion and shifting demographics. Biden's strong showing in 2020 reinforces Colorado's position as likely blue for this election as well. Moving to the central U.S., Trump maintains dominant leads in states like Wyoming, Utah, and Idaho, where margins have ranged from 20 to 40 points in past elections. Montana also remains deeply Republican, with Trump ahead by 17 points, solidifying the state's strong red alignment. Nebraska's 2nd congressional district is an interesting outlier, with Harris currently leading by 11 points. While this margin could narrow as the race heats up, the district remains likely blue for now. Meanwhile, the rest of Nebraska, along with North and South Dakota, Kansas, and Oklahoma, remain firmly in Republican territory. Turning to Texas, a state Democrats have been eyeing for years but have yet to flip. Trump currently holds a 6.7% lead, which is similar to his 2020 margin of victory. Texas remains lean red for now, though Harris's campaign is closely monitoring the state's evolving demographics, hoping for a potential shift. What's even more intriguing is the potential shakeup in the Senate race, with Republican control in jeopardy as Colin Ulrich continues to make notable gains. Stay tuned for some major updates on this Senate race coming soon. Up in Alaska, Trump's lead is solid, making this a likely state for him, while Harris maintains a strong position in Hawaii, which is a reliably Democratic state. Turning to the Midwest, a region vital for both campaigns, Harris needs to lock down Minnesota, her running mate's home state, along with the key swing states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. These states are crucial for her path to victory, especially given Trump's success in flipping them during his 2016 run. With tight polling numbers across the region, the Midwest is shaping up to be a decisive region that could ultimately determine the election's outcome. In Minnesota, Harris holds an 8% lead. Minnesota has been a reliable Democratic stronghold, voting blue in every presidential election since 1972. The state remains classified as likely blue, and with its strong labor movement and focus on economic issues, Harris's ties to the state may only solidify her lead as Election Day nears. Meanwhile, Trump continues to have strong support in Iowa, following his decisive wins in the last two elections with margins of 9 and 8 points. Although Iowa currently leans red, the lack of consistent polling in the state leaves room for potential surprises. In Illinois, Harris has a comfortable 18-point lead over Trump in their latest matchup, securing Illinois in the solid blue category. On the other hand, Indiana is expected to remain firmly in Trump's camp, with projections showing a likely double-digit victory for the incumbent following historical trends. Turning to Ohio, Trump leads by 8.4%. Both Ohio and Iowa were once Democratic strongholds as recently as 2012, but Trump's significant victories in 2016 shifted them back into Republican territory. The landslide re-election of both states' Republican governors in 2022 solidifies their likely red status. Three critical states remain on the map: Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Harris must win all three to secure the 270 electoral votes needed for victory, meaning that if Trump manages to capture just one, his path to the presidency becomes significantly easier. In Wisconsin, the race has tightened significantly, but Harris now holds a 3-point lead overall, giving her an edge. With recent polling showing Harris ahead, Wisconsin has moved into the lean blue category. However, given the polling inaccuracies in 2020, where Biden was expected to win by 7% but only secured a narrow victory, the state's competitiveness cannot be underestimated. In Michigan, Harris leads by 2 points, positioning the state as tilt blue. While recent polls have shown her with stronger leads, Michigan remains highly contested, with the UAW strike making headlines and the focus on labor issues. Harris's appeal to working-class voters could prove decisive. Both campaigns are targeting Michigan's 15 electoral votes, recognizing the critical role they will play in the election's outcome. In the Northeast, Harris enjoys firm backing in states like Vermont, Connecticut, Delaware, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Maryland, and Washington, D.C., which remain solidly blue. Even New Jersey, despite recent Democratic controversies, is expected to be solid in Harris's favor. In New York, Harris maintains a solid 14-point lead. As the largest blue state in the region, New York's solid Democratic backing only strengthens her campaign's presence on the East Coast. Harris holds a 6.4% lead in New Hampshire, keeping the state in the lean blue category for now. Maine, however, is more complex. Harris has a commanding 17-point lead statewide, but historically Maine tends to be competitive. Clinton won by just 3% in 2016 and Biden by less than 10%. Harris is comfortably ahead in Maine's 1st district, but Trump's strong support in the 2nd district keeps it leaning red thanks to his success there in the past two elections. In the Southeast, Trump's base remains solid across several states. Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama are firmly in the Republican camp. Trump leads by 23 points in Tennessee and holds double-digit advantages in both Kentucky and West Virginia, ensuring a strong GOP presence in the region. South Carolina also remains in the Republican column, with a likely red designation. In Virginia, a traditionally Democratic-leaning state, Harris seems to be comfortably ahead in this election cycle. She leads Trump by 7.1% overall, with two recent polls showing her with leads as large as 11 points. Virginia is still considered lean blue, and with its consistent Democratic track record, it's unlikely to become a battleground this time around. Despite Republican hopes for gains, the data indicates Harris is solidifying Virginia as a stronghold for 2024. North Carolina, a key battleground Trump won by 4% in 2016 and by just 1% in 2020, is once again highly competitive. Trump now holds a 3-point lead, moving the state into the lean Republican category. While Harris has shown strength in previous polls, Trump's current advantage solidifies his grip on the state for now. With North Carolina being a critical piece in the electoral puzzle, It's set to be one of the most closely watched states in 2024. In recent years, Florida has become more of a Republican stronghold. Trump's 2020 victory by 3 points, along with Ron DeSantis' sweeping 20-point win in the 2022 governor's race, underscore this shift. Trump currently holds a lead of just over 5.4%, placing Florida in the lean red category. However, Harris has been performing better than Biden did in the state, which could tighten the race as Election Day approaches. Now we have the final 2 states, and both are extremely important. In Georgia, with its critical 16 electoral votes, Harris has now taken the lead, holding 51% to Trump's 47%, making the state lean blue. This shift comes after a series of tight polls that previously had the race neck and neck. Harris's recent advantage gives her momentum in a state that has become a major battleground. A win here would be a significant boost for her path to the presidency, turning Georgia into a key piece of her electoral strategy as the race intensifies. Pennsylvania continues to be one of the most pivotal battlegrounds, with its 19 electoral votes having the potential to shape the entire election. A win here for Trump would be a major setback for Harris, as even victories in states like Arizona and Nevada wouldn't make up for the loss of this key state. The race remains incredibly close, and now Harris holds a narrow 49% to 47% lead over Trump, pushing Pennsylvania into the tilt blue category. With the outcome still hanging in the balance, this state will play a decisive role in determining the final result. Based on the latest Washington Post surveys, the current electoral map projects Kamala Harris as the frontrunner, putting her on track to secure the electoral votes necessary to win the 2024 presidency. With momentum in key battlegrounds and gains in traditionally Republican strongholds, her path to victory seems increasingly solid. As the remaining weeks unfold, Trump faces the challenge of countering this surge if he hopes to avoid what could be an unexpectedly tough outcome for the GOP. Be sure to share this video to make sure people don't get complacent. Everyone needs to get out and vote. Even if you think it won't sway the presidential race in your state, your voice is crucial in local elections, which can often have an even bigger impact on your community. Be sure to make your voice heard and be part of the process. Keep in mind, this is just a map projection based on the latest polling data and trends, and the situation can change rapidly. Be sure to do your own research and stay informed as Election Day approaches. Let me end by quickly explaining the map colors, which indicate the level of confidence and margin of victory in each state. Safe states are projected wins by 15+ points with little chance of an upset. Likely states are margins between 8 and 15 points, fairly secure but not guaranteed. Lean states are tighter races with a 3 to 8 point margin, where the leader is favored but the outcome could shift. Tilt states are the closest contests, with margins under 3 points, making them true battlegrounds. These colors provide a snapshot of how secure or competitive each state is, offering insight into where candidates are focusing their efforts as Election Day approaches. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for daily updates as we approach Election Day.